Welcome to the live show. I will be giving or be allowing 5 minutes for others to join before we commence. Okay, right. Setting up my tripod. Welcome. You can see that most people are joining in, and anyone that cannot join in while I am live can actually watch the replay, so that is fine. Yeah. Hi everyone. Hi. Good afternoon. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it for 12 p.m. today. I had a session with a customer and it took longer than expected. So welcome to the Hair Science and Revamp class webinar. In this webinar, I would be sorry guys, I think I need to disconnect my network. Welcome. Please let us know where you are joining in from. This is a webinar on hair science and wig revamping. Let me know where you are joining us from. Let me know where. Drop a comment. We don't bite. Are you joining from Ghana? Are you joining from Lagos? Are you joining from Port Harcourt? Where are you joining the webinar from? This webinar, I did not intend to leave a replay, but because of the time, I had to. I've decided to leave the replay on. Thank you, everyone. So please let us know where you're joining from while we are waiting for others to join in. We just have about 3 minutes more and then we'll start. Let me know where you're joining from. Welcome, everyone. You would see a comment box. You can type in and let us know where you're joining from. Please, this class has to be interactive. The least you can do is to respond and interact. We don't bite. So let me know. 2 minutes more and we'll start. And if I notice you guys are not interacting, I would stop the live stream. There's no point. I don't teach dead people. I teach people who interact with me. So this is a free class. You have to. This is like it's like a classroom, so you have to interact. Okay. I'm sure you can clearly see the live chat to drop a comment, but for some reason you guys don't want to comment. I'll just give some grace to people who want about me. If I'm trying to do a free class and people are not interacting, I don't bother. I just move. That's just a sign that you're not interested. You have to interact. It's a class. Okay, guys. So let's continue. It's already time. It's 12 minutes past 12. We've given enough time for others to join. Um, so this webinar, we are talking about um, revamping, but if you notice, I talked about hair science, right? I talked about hair science. Why am I talking about hair science when I'm talking about revamping? So there's something I always tell my students. If you are a hairstylist, you need to have basic knowledge of hair science. Why? When you have basic knowledge of hair science, it helps you to understand hair. You're working with the hi Sarah, thank you for commenting. God bless you. So Sarah from Surulere, thank you for joining in. Thank you for commenting as well. Sarah, in fact, you're going to send me a message on WhatsApp. I'm sure you're coming from WhatsApp. I have a gift for you. Thank you for responding. I'm always very interactive in my classes, and I don't like it when people are just there. It doesn't show me that I'm teaching people that are alive. And obviously, you're not here um, by mistake. You decided to join in, so just interact. So Sarah, you're the first person to drop a comment. You send me a message on WhatsApp, and I'll share a free gift with you. All right, thank you. So as a hairstylist, if you want to go far, if you want to be respected, if you want to be so good at what you are doing, which is hairstyling, you have to understand what it is you're working with. Now, what do we work with? We work with hair, right? Wigs, human hair in most cases. Like I did an install on someone today. I worked with her real hair, like her own, natural hair. If I don't understand the nature of hair, then it makes it very, very impossible, very, very difficult for me to be successful as a hairstylist. So that is why hair science is very, very important. I don't know if that makes sense. So what is hair science? Hair science is the study of the structure of hair, the function of hair, anything that relates with hair. That's the function of hair science. Basically, that's the study of hair. I was trying to explain, let me take it again because I think I just said it incorrectly. Hair science is the study of hair. Sorry, guys, I got a notification. Hair science is the scientific study of hair, the scalp, the function of hair, what hair is made of, what hair is composed of. Cynthia said she's joining from Benin. Welcome, Cynthia. Welcome to the live stream, to the webinar. So, I don't know if you guys can hear me. The hair science is the scientific study of the hair, the strands, the scalp, the function of hair. Even understanding the problems of hair is, as a hair scientist, that's how you get to understand. And like I said earlier, you have to understand hair, you have to understand the products for you to know what you are doing so you can manipulate it properly. Don't know if that makes sense. So, for example, on my TikTok, we have two TikTok pages. We have business TikTok, which is the bars I tell you. That is where most of you found me. We also have my personal brand TikTok, where I teach on hair science, business related stuff. It's Doreen Pere, same name you're seeing here on TikTok. That's on YouTube. That's the same name you'll be seeing on TikTok. So there I post a lot of things, and I've been talking about shampoos. For example, I shared some videos and I talked about the different types of shampoos that we have. We have clarifying shampoo, we have neutralizing shampoo, we have chelating or chelating shampoo. That I always mix up that name. We also have moisturizing shampoo. So those are like more clarifying, moisturizing, chelating shampoo, and what? Did I mention clarifying shampoo? Neutralizing shampoo. We have like four different types of shampoos. Okay, Sarah says she can hear me. Thank you so much. So, like I said, hair science, you're studying about hair, right? The structure of hair. So now let's start with the structure of hair. I decided to do this class very last minute. I decided to do it yesterday because I feel like people need to know these things, and it's just one of my ways of giving back. I'm trying to hang my phone somewhere so I can see it. So I don't have my board here where I can draw, but I have things that I can use to describe. Okay, so let's talk about the structure of hair. Let's talk about the structure of hair. It's very important. If you know the way medical doctors get to study the human body, and that's why they excel. That's why they have results. You as a hairstylist, you have to understand hair. You have to understand hair. That's how you. That's one of the the most important, like, I'm not joking, it's very, very important. If you want to succeed as a hairstylist, you have to understand what you're working with. When something is not going well, why? When you're putting a particular product on somebody's hair and it's not working, why? So let me give you guys an instance. Um, there was a time when I was styling a Caucasian model, and her hair is natural. You know, Caucasians, when their hair is natural, for most of them, it's very coily. That's why this is raw hair, Indian raw hair. This is how somebody's hair is in this natural state. This is I don't know if it's 2A or 3. I don't know what this is called, but I can't remember the texture. We have 4A, 4B, 4C. Mine is 4C. My natural hair used to be 4C. It's relaxed now, so the texture has changed. So I don't know what this is. I can't really say, but this is natural hair. And then she had her hair natural like this. She had not applied any chemical or anything. and it was a shoot. I was on set. Guess what I did, guys? I blow dried her hair, kind of like did like a mini silk press to make sure that her hair that was like this was looking a little bit smooth. Then I now used let me show you guys what I used. I now used Eco Styler gel to because I was trying to do like a smooth. So I now use innocently or use on her hair. And I just started noticing that sorry guys, I have to take this call. Yeah? Okay. Praise. Please go downstairs and take the floor from Anita. Alright guys, sorry. So I noticed that her hair started reverting, right? What I mean by reverting, the hair that I've successfully blow dried, I blow dried it and it was straight, smooth, everything. It started reverting back to coily hair. Do you know what I realized? What I did not pay attention to on time? This product is a water-based gel. Water and natural hair. If water touches your hair, it either makes it freeze or it reverts. But because I did not have proper knowledge of hair science, because I didn't have proper knowledge of hair science, I was just messing around. I didn't know. It was even months later that I realized that, oh, this was what went wrong. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to go back to my script. All right, back to my script. I keep getting calls on this line. I need both phones. This is office phone. This is my personal phone, but I need the both of them. So sorry, I have to do it like this. Um, so let's talk about hair science and the structure of hair. Now, when I say structure of hair, what do I mean? So hair has a way that it is. Um, hair has a way it was designed by God, right? Hair has a way it was designed by God. It has a structure. Our skin, we have different layers of the skin. We have the topmost layer, which is called the epidermis. Um, we have like different layers. They're called different names. I can't really remember them. Sometimes it gets off my head. That's how even your hair, my own hair, for example, this is my hair, has different layers. Does that make sense? It has different layers. All human hair has different layers. Yes, it does. So the first layer, which is the outermost layer, the one that you get to see if you're looking, this one you're seeing, is called the cuticle. It's called the cuticle. We also have the inner layer. Can you guys hear me? Sarah says she can hear me. Please, I want to be sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? So we have the cuticle. Okay, great. You can hear me. I wanted to be sure because um, the classroom was kind of like quiet. So we have the cuticle, which is the outer layer. We have the cortex, which is the inner layer, and then we have the medulla. That's like the inner layer. There are three layers. The first layer, the cuticle, the main job of that layer is to protect the hair. So you know most times how people used to say, the porosity of my hair, I have low porosity, I have high porosity. What determines the porosity of your hair is the cuticle. There are some cuticles that are damaged. That means if the cuticle of someone's hair, the wig or whatever is damaged, it means that that hair would have very um, high porosity. It means that product can, yes, this live stream can be watched later, but it's better you're here because sometimes on YouTube, the problem is if I try to save the video, it might save, it might not save. It has happened to one live stream before, so yeah, you stand the chance of not yeah, so the job of the outer layer is to protect the hair. So the outer layer, the way it is designed is it opens and closes. It opens and closes, right? When I say open, not opening like this. You can liken to saying the cortical swells and then relaxes, swells and relaxes. Don't know if that makes sense. It swells and relaxes. So when it opens, which I would say swells, what happens is products can enter the hair. moisture can also leave the hair. Now, if you're coloring hair, have you guys seen the way you color? Most of you have colored hair before. When you try to color the hair, you put your peroxide. I even have some by the side there. You put your peroxide, mix it with bleaching powder, or if you're even doing like bleach baths, that you just use the powder and peroxide and mix it and put more of water so that you just want a light brown shade. Do you know what's happening? Two things are in place there. The cuticle of the hair, it's lifting, it's opening to allow the chemicals go into the second layer of the hair. The second layer of the hair now has the color pigments. We have light brown, pale blondes, blondes, lightest blondes. If you're a colorist here, you know what I'm talking about. All those colors are inside the cortex. Another thing that we also find inside the cortex of the hair is what we call the elasticity of the hair. Some hair, when the hair is damaged and you try to pull it, it doesn't go back. But a hair that is healthy, I remember when my hair was not relaxed, if I pull it, it goes back like an elastic band. That's the elasticity of the hair. So that part of the hair, that cortex, that part of the hair also has the elasticity of the hair, and which is very, very important for healthy hair. It's just like your skin not having collagen, your face will start wrinkling. The way collagen is important for your skin, that's how elasticity is very important for your hair. Don't know if that makes sense. So another very I've just talked about the cortex and the cortical. The cortical protects the hair. The inner layer has your elasticity, has color pigments. It also holds what we call protein bonds. But I believe I'm not really sure if protein bonds are deposited in like all the layers of the hair. Now there's a third layer of the hair which is the medulla. It's not very functional. When I read up about hair, and when I read up about the medulla, I don't find so much information about, so we're just going to leave it. The most important is the cortex and the cuticle. The cuticle is the outer layer. It is very important. It's as important as the inner layer. If the inner layer is not, if the outer layer is not there to protect the inner layer, inner layer will be damaged. So this is how God, guys, sometimes when I think about the way God created human body, he's God. I get I just get overwhelmed and start praising God. It's like when I'm reading about science, it's like worship. Because how did someone just stay and design it? So all this color, I want to lift my hair to blonde. I want to is this like I know most people don't know this, but what your peroxide does is one of the function of your, I think it's either the ammonia or the peroxide, I can't remember in particular. Its job is just to open the cuticle and allow the ammonia and the peroxide to go inside. It's like it does a multiple, it does multiple things. It can open up the cuticle and at the same time lift off the black pigment from the hair and expose the underlying pigments. The underlying pigment is what we have, is what we call blonde. That blonde, when you put bleach on somebody's hair, you now see it. That's what's that's underlying pigment that is already inside the hair. So your job as a colorist is to deposit a color. I think I have some here. Hold on, guys. Let me just get it because this is a proper class. So your job as a hairstylist is to deposit some color. This is Igora Vibrance. I've had this color for a while. I've not been able to test it out. This is another, color tube. We also have colors in our door. I'm sure. Let me show you guys. We also have semi-permanent colors like this, right? These ones are permanent colors. I mean, some brands make semi-permanent colors like this, but most colors that come like this are permanent colors. Then we have semi-permanent. Semi-permanent is it wears out over time. Permanent colors, it stays. Sometimes when customers are trying to, maybe they want to go blonde, but they are not sure, they can try testing with semi-permanent color because it goes off after a while and then they can decide to change. But this one is a more permanent, and you need to understand hair science. You need to understand the color wheel properly to be able to use this one. And it's very easy. It's very easy. It used to be trickish for me, but I figured it out. I'm like, oh, this is actually very easy. So you can see how your hair, in fact, the hair, the color you have inside determines the color, what they call it, the pigments that we have inside of our hair is what scientists use to formulate colors like this. It inspired them to create blonde. It inspired them to create red because we have reddish pigment inside of our hair. It inspired them to make white blonde. You see that? Have you guys watched Game of Thrones? You see the way Khaleesi's hair is white? We also have a pigment in our hair that is close to that. That is, we call it level 10. Level 10 blonde, it is white, like it is very, very white. It's slightly lighter than banana. When you peel a ripe banana, it's lighter than that. Is this class interesting? Monday said it's really interesting and fascinating. I'm so glad you're learning. So that's the importance of the cuticle of the hair and the cortex. Those two very, very important. Then another thing that I would like to mention just before I move to the next lesson is the um, the way hair is formulated. Hair is formulated. When I say formulated, like the way God created hair. Hair has a number of proteins, amino acids, keratin, different types of protein. You guys, you can read this up so that I can stick. Okay, hair is made up of different proteins. Now let me explain. There's something we call protein bonds in hair. Protein bonds. The protein bonds in your hair, when you apply relaxers, the protein bonds in your hair also helps to make your hair stronger, like the keratin, for example. So when you apply relaxer in your hair, you apply color, bleach to your hair to lift it. What happens, is that the protein bonds also get broken, which means your hair gets weaker. Have you noticed that blonde hair tends to break faster? It's because the protein bonds in blonde hair is weaker compared to the way it was. Protein bonds like a spiral, it breaks. If I wish there was a picture for me to. Maybe when I have another webinar like this, I'm going to come with I'm going to create a proper slide to show you. That's what I'll do. Yeah, that's my next assignment for myself. I'm going to create the slide, and then, or maybe what I can even do after this class, I'm going to create the slide and make it available for you guys. Who would love that? Anyone that likes the idea of that, please let me know. Let me know. So let me. I'm trying to look for something to describe the way the hair works. Uh, what do I use now? Okay, so let me use my hairspray for example. Can you see this part? This part is what we can call, because if you look at your hair in the microscope, and this is what it looks like, right? You see the different layers. This, we can call this the medulla, is very small. This is the inner layer, inner one. Then we can call this layer, we can call this now, this part, the cortex, the part that holds the elasticity of the hair, elastic bonds, the part that holds color pigments, and also protein bonds. Then this part of the hair, which is the surface layer that when you are blow drying, you are washing, this is where your hand is touching the hair, the strands, is called the cuticle, and it protects, just like the way now this part is protecting the liquid that is inside this hairspray. That is how the cuticle of your hair protects the cortex and the medulla. Okay, since Cynthia said she would love that. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to create that and then I'll make it available for you guys to download. Um, but you have to give me some days. However, I'm going to update the group. Once it's ready, I'll update the group with the link so you can just download it from there. What else was I going to explain? I've talked about the protein bonds and how chemical services can break the protein bonds. And that's why, in foreign countries where they have laws, because these chemicals can cause damage to your hair, before you can use chemicals on somebody's hair by offering chemical service, relaxer, color, you must have a license. The same way in Nigeria, doctors have license to practice. That's how abroad, if you want to, in foreign countries, if you want to apply um, if you want to start offering chemical service, you must have a license. Now, that license, before you get the license, you go to a beauty school, a cosmetology school. You're going to be there for 6 to 1 year, depending on how your calendar is programmed. When you finish the school, you will write what we call state board exam. And then after the state board exam, you will now be, if you pass, you will now be given a license. Your license, I think, depending on the country or the states where you are operating from, you get to renew your license every year or every 2 years. Then we also have CPD courses like continuing education as a hairstylist so that they will not withdraw your license from you, because relaxer can damage somebody's life. It is a chemical. The same way when you take in tablets, pills, and if you take a bad pill, maybe, and if I know of someone that are taking bad inferior malaria pill and died. So if you it's just how these other most countries are very intentional about citizens and their laws. In Nigeria, for example, you can just pass by the street and you see one hairstylist applying relaxer on somebody's hair. Doesn't it surprise you how so many women? Yes, relaxers can be very dangerous because these. In fact, if you read up the history of peroxide, if you read up the history of peroxide, you find that in some countries, this is 30 volume. In some countries, you cannot use 40 volume till date. It's not allowed. It's illegal to use 40 volume because of the damage that can be done, that can happen. So they have laws that prohibit you from, offering chemical services if you are not licensed. So they also have officials that usually do rounds to check salons within the area and ask for their license. You see, combs, brushes, they have certifications, courses that you take to prove that you understand how to kill bacteria. In salons today, you see somebody sitting down to style it. When the person finishes, they will not carry the same comb and they are putting it on another person's hair. It's very dangerous and unsafe. One person can have hepatitis B, and transfer it to the next person. Body fluid. Your scalp produces what they call sebum. You can transfer from the comb to another person. Does that make sense? So these are safe practices that we have to be doing. I know most people here are wig makers, but in case it's very good to learn this because you can decide tomorrow that you want to expand your business and just add hairstyling to it. So you need to have this knowledge. What else was I going to talk about? So I've talked about the lesson one. Lesson two is what are some of the problems that are associated with hair? So we have estheticians, right? Estheticians. Estheticians are people that, excuse me, estheticians are people that their job is to treat the skin. Like I can't open my gallery, but I wish I would have been able to show you guys my friend's face. She's currently trying to treat her skin, so she's doing chemical peel. Her skin is peeling. It's a chemical peel. It's a chemical exfoliant that was applied to peel off her skin, so that it can bring out new layers of the skin. That she has a skin condition, remember, marks, and she also wants her skin to look younger. So the same way your skin has skin problems like acne, pimple, some people call it breakout. Oh, my skin is not smooth. Like, the same way your skin has problems like that. That is how your hair, even the hair that I showed you guys, my own hair, this wig, that's how it has problems. Does that make sense? So that is where you come in as a hairstylist. So let me mention just about two problems that hair has. One of the problems that hair has is frizz. Frizz. The second problem is um is not pliable. That one is for hairstylists, especially bridal hairstylists. When I'm teaching bridal hairstylists, I normally mention this to them because it's one of the problems that they will face as bridal hairstylists. If you're styling hair that if you're styling a wig for a customer that does not have texture, you will find it very difficult to pin it down. So that is one problem because it's very slippery. So what then do? You now prep the hair. You can use sea salt. You can use crimper. I think those are like the two ways you can prep hair to add texture to the hair. Because you know that when you buy new hair, when the customer buys new bundles or new wig, it's usually very smooth. So that can be a problem as well for bridal hairstylists. If you've ever tried to style the bridal hair and you notice that the hair is just slippery, that is the problem, and there is a way to fix it. The secret lies in your hair prep. Okay, but that's not for us. Them we are wig makers too. The problem that we as wig makers face. I'm talking to wig makers today. I'm also a bridal hairstylist, but today's class is for wig makers. So the other problem that hair has is freeze. What we call freeze. FRIZZ. FRIZZ. Freeze is my hair. The weave I have on is actually frizzy. If it's not frizzy, this is what it look like. Let me show you. So I'm using a conditioner and I'm going to apply it. So my hair. Do you guys see the difference between here and here? Now, it's not just because this part is wet, that's why it looks different. It has a better look. It has a better look. It doesn't look rough like this. So whenever you have maybe a coily hair, you have bouncy hair. I did not come with any of my wigs. I would have shown you wig that I've worn and kept for a while that looks very frizzy. Brenda, please, do we have any frizzy wig lying somewhere? Check the rack. The rack. Let me use as a sample. So, okay, so let me give another example. Have you relaxed your hair before and it was looking very smooth, but then you said like, you want to leave it to a dry. Then by the next day, when you wake up, you notice that the hair is big. That condition is called freeze. Mm, okay. So this is also frizzy. Can you see? It's frizzy. This hair is frizzy. If it was not frizzy, it would be looking very smooth, like silky smooth. If a customer buys new hair, have you noticed some women complaining that this hair I don't understand it too. The first time I bought it, it was very smooth. Now I just wear it for 1 week and it don't spoil. You don't when you now ask them, let me see. Please can you bring the hair for me? You now realize that oh the hair just got frizzy and the customer is saying that the hair don't spoil. Many women just don't understand that hair has a way that it behaves. Hair has a behavior. It gets frizzy. It tangles, like see the back of this hair. Tangle, that's also one characteristics of hair. It can tangle, especially when it touches the back of your hair. So I don't know if you guys are following. I think we're going to use this to do the revamp session. For today, we're just going to do the revamp session in another class, which will probably be tomorrow or next week. I'm going to be doing the styling part where I'm going to be coiling. I won't be doing everything today because I'm not physically um, equipped for that because I've been standing for so many hours doing hair and I won't be able to do the styling part, but I'm definitely going to show you guys the revamping part. Okay, so talked about problems associated with it and I've mentioned freeze. Now, how do we fight freeze? How do we handle freeze? We handle freeze with products that are anti-freeze products. What do I mean by anti-freeze products? Your hair serum is an anti-freeze product. Some of your leave-in conditioners, we have different types of conditioners. We have leave-in conditioners. We have conditioners that you can rinse out of the hair. You cannot, a conditioner that is designed, formulated for you to rinse out, you cannot leave it in. It's dangerous. It might end up making the hair feel hard. So some of your leave-in conditioners, there's even a video on TikTok that I posted and I recommended some serums on my personal TikTok page. You guys might want to check it out. Meanwhile, as you're here on this channel, please do well to subscribe. I post videos. If you're trying to learn frontal installation, bridal styling, this channel I have a lot, and the tutorials are very very detailed. Like there's no cut and join. It's detailed, start to finish. So you want to subscribe and watch some of the videos and practice. So this serum is an anti-freeze serum. It will help the hair to have shine, anti-freeze properties. Some anti-freeze properties. Beeswax is one anti-freeze property. I think even petroleum jelly, but we don't really use petroleum jelly for hair per se. So anytime you want to buy as a wig maker that revamps hair, if you want to or when you want to start revamping hair, when you're trying to buy styling products, always make sure they write anti-freeze product of the on top of the product you're trying to buy. Look at this, my Lota body mousse. I need to replace it. But here, somewhere, I don't know if you guys can see it. Creates soft wraps, defines coils, tames freeze. Tames freeze. That's why we use a lot of mousse for styling, for prepping hair. Like if I'm going to style a bride's hair, before part of my prep process is I mousse up the hair and blow dry it, and it helps the hair to be smooth, not frizzy. I can't, just like me now, I want to start, just like an artist, I know how to paint and I want to start painting an image. I cannot paint on a dirty canvas. That's stuff that I used to paint. It can't be dirty, it has to be clean so you can see what I'm drawing. So if you're a hairstylist and you want to start styling hair, whether it's bridal styling, whether it's to coil it, and the hair you are working on is frizzy, then you are a bad artist because you don't know how to work with your canvas. As a hairstylist, as a wig maker, this is your canvas. This is what you work with. You take it from looking water wavy like this to looking straight. This hair can be suppressed and to come out looking straight. This hair can also be straightened and crimped. It can also be straightened and coiled. I can do whatever I want to do with this my raw curly hair. I'm an artist, but you have to understand your canvas, and that's why this class is important. So, we've talked about freeze, how to fight freeze. You fight freeze with anti-freeze products. Most you blow dry the hair. If you want to start, what I even recently I was teaching my team members and I told them that one of the things you have to start doing after revamping hair, before we start coiling, you have to blow dry the hair. You have to blow dry it. Apply your heat protectants, heat protecting spray. You can see this is a heat defense spray. You don't just start um, touching hair with coiling iron, blow dryer without using a heat defense spray. It damages the hair. Now, for those who are following, when I say it damages the hair, what do I mean? It means that the cuticles of the hair will get damaged. And if you have you ever seen any hair before that? You style it small, you style it now, give it a few hours. The moment you go out, the hair is now is big, it's frizzy. The cuticles of that hair damaged, or the hair is not even good hair. There are so many factors, but one of it is that the cuticles of the hair is already damaged. The hair that has healthy cuticles, the cuticles help, like I said, it helps to protect the hair, so the hair will always be looking silky, except you're in a very humid environment or water like rainfall. If people remember, I remember when I was in secondary school, if I'm carrying my natural hair, my relaxed hair, and I'm coming back from school and I get wet, maybe that day I'm not with my umbrella or raincoat, my hair gets big the next day. It's freeze. So that is one of the biggest problems of hair. And your job, when you style hair with your coiling and everything, part of what you are doing is taming frizz. Do you know why it's important for you guys to know these things? I used to have a lot of students tell me, oh, customers don't want to pay, they don't want to pay me well, customers don't want, they keep saying, how much is too, this money is too expensive for revamping. Why should I pay 5,000 for revamping? I should pay three. In this economy, someone is pricing you that they want to pay revamping 3,000. Your conditioner, your shampoo, your tools, your energy, your time, the power that you use to, even if it's NEPA lights, you are paying NEPA bill. If it's generator, you are buying fuel. 3,000. How much is that the profit? A lot of hairstylists and wig makers are working for free, sadly. I've talked about that on my TikTok. You might want to go and check it out. My TikTok has a lot that I share because I know that, there are some things that me have had to deal with, and I'm the kind of person that I am. If I've suffered from something, you know, especially in my line of business, I don't think any other person should suffer from because I'll always share. Once I get over it, I'll share. So I talked about freeze, roughness. You guys might want to go and read so you can check and find out more causes of freeze. If you're talking to a customer and you're talking like a professional, the person will just respect you. They just know, this is not a regular roadside hairstylist. This is not a regular roadside wig maker. They'll pay you. They'll pay you what? Excuse me. Over time. Over time. I normally do these live streams on Instagram, and a lot of my customers, join in. They know they price me because I'm a professional. I didn't pick the knowledge for road. And you want your hair not to be damaged as a customer. You want your hair to be done properly, all of those things. So when the customers are humans, they are just like you. When they observe that someone knows their own nails, they respect you. And that respect shows in how, when you tell them this is the price, they are usually willing to pay. Anyone that is not willing to pay, maybe it's just a thing of budget and it's fine. That's why it's good to know who your target customers are. Okay. So moving forward, why do we revamp hair? Why do we revamp hair? Can anybody drop their own answer? Why do we revamp hair? Why do we? Yeah. Mona Lisa was saying that it's moisturized. Yes, this part is more moisturized than the others. Why do we revamp hair? Why do we revamp hair? This is a classroom setting. I am going to give room for anybody that has an answer. If the answer is correct, I have a free gift for you. And you have to answer before someone else answers. So type really fast. Why do we revamp hair? Waiting for your answer. Praise, please. I need water in this for my hair revamp class. The faucet, since the faucet is not working, you have to put water directly. Okay, nobody has answered yet. Yeah, I need water here so I can wash and revamp this hair. So why do we revamp hair, guys? Why do we revamp hair? Nobody has answered yet. So I'm just going to keep it moving. We revamp hair to remove number one, build up. Good. Mona Lisa, you actually answered correctly, so I have a gift for you. I have a gift for you. So you just send me a chat on WhatsApp. Thank you. Yeah, so one of the reasons why we revamp hair is to remove build-up. Mona Lisa called it dirt, but if you want to talk about it as a professional, you say build-up. Why do we call it build-up? It's still there too, but if you want to just sound professional, you say build-up. We call it build-up because when you're trying to style hair, you're using hairspray, you're using mousse. Remember I said something about mousse and blow drying. You're using wax stick. At the end of the day, the hair gets dirty again. That dirt is what we call build up. Build up is from the products. And then you now move from having the build up on the hair to we now move from having build up on the hair to revamping the hair. So I used to tell my customers that hair care is like a cycle. I used to tell them, don't you shower? You shower. After going around, you go back home, you shower. You the next day you sleep, your body, sweat, whatever, cream, the body cream you use the previous day, you need to wash all of that off. You have a bath again, apply cream again. You'll not say, oh, because I applied cream yesterday, made my hair dirty, I'm not going to apply cream. Then you won't be providing the one of the reasons why you apply cream on your body is actually to protect the skin, to make it appear smooth. That's the job of Vaseline. Vaseline is what we call occlusive. Maybe when we get to that, when we want to start styling, I might talk about the different types of products we have. We have humectants, we have occlusives, and we have, did I mention humectant, occlusive? There's one other type of um, product we have. So products have different classes. We classify them, and we are classifying them based on their function and what they contain, what is inside the product. Okay, so build up, like I said, your hair care is like a circle. You go over it, you revamp, you apply everything you need to apply to make the hair look smooth. You style it, the customer wears it for some time and sends it back for revamping. It's a circle. Same way most of us even wash our clothes like that. Like you wear it like this now, I'm not going to wear this again until I wash it. I'm going to go and drop it, wash it and wear it again. Circle. So that product and everything you apply on the hair is called build up. So to remove build up is one of the reasons why we revamp hair. Another reason why we also revamp hair is to tame frizz. When you revamp hair, it also helps tame frizz because of the products that we are using. Princess said revamp hairs to maintain the healthiness of our quality hairs. That's a good answer. Um, Chidera says revamp hair to make the hair look new, like turn to its original state. Good. Everything you said is just like what I was trying to describe. The hair comes from factory, looks smooth. Mind you, the fact in the factory was not looking that smooth. Factory has a way that they treat hairs with silicones, and silicone is a very, very important ingredient. We have it in most, like I think this our hair conditioner also has silicone. It's a very important product. It's a very important ingredient that is used to formulate products. Okay, so you got answers, but Mona Lisa answered first and she's correct, so she has a gift. If you want to answer, if you want to get a gift next time, you answer quickly. So Mona Lisa and the other girl that wants something, you need to send me a message on WhatsApp. So these are two reasons why we revamp hair. Okay, to maintain it, to remove frizz, to remove buildup, to make it look presentable. Because, like we said, remember, hair has a problem. Same way your skin has a problem, hair has a problem. Okay, so the number three part is the lesson number three is understanding products. Okay, understanding products. I don't actually have all the products that um, I don't have all the products that I need to show you guys, but I have a few. I have my wax, I have my hairspray, I have my mousse. We're going to go over it again. Okay, so let me just explain. Okay, yeah, so I even have my notepad here. I'm looking at it. So we have different types of moisturizers. Now, um, so we have our moisturizer that we, let me start with shampoos. Let me just explain that before I get into the moisturizer part. Your shampoo, the function of your shampoo is to clean the hair. The primary function of any shampoo you have is to clean the hair. The same way the primary function of your detergent is to wash your clothes, to remove dirty. The primary function of soap, bathing soap, is to cleanse your skin. That is how the primary function of your shampoo is to wash your hair, to remove the buildup. Remember, shampooing the hair is part of the revamping process. So that is why it makes sense to say that one of the reasons why revamp hair is to remove buildup. And now, how do we remove the buildup? That is where the shampoo comes in. Now, I know that most of you know this. You've been taught, you've done online trainings, you've done, but to know the why, because you have students, many of you, in fact, if you're not teaching yet, start teaching because it helps you to know. Do you know why I know this thing off heart? Because I've been teaching about it over and over and over. So I know it. You can wake me up from sleep. Shampoo, I will just start explaining different types of shampoo. So one of the ways to master what you're doing is to start teaching. Do you understand? Start teaching. You can put up um, very affordable classes for other hairstylists who don't know what to know and start teaching them. No, there's no harm in doing that. Okay. Um, So we're talking about shampoos. One of the primary functions of shampoo is to break down, to remove buildup. Now, how does it work? Your shampoo has what we call SLS in abbreviation. It's called sodium lauryl sulfate. The job of your sodium lauryl sulfate is to break down dirt. I want to give an illustration. I've given that illustration before, and I used to always use it to make people's brain work. If you are like, so you can think fast. If you are trying to wash plates that you ate, and maybe what you ate in that plate is soup. Now there's oil, or maybe you ate stew, but there's oil, groundnut oil left over on the plate, and you're trying to wash it. If you put that plate under a running tap, let's say you turn on your tap and it's running down, I don't know if you guys have noticed that the water does not remove the oil. It doesn't move it. Instead, what you notice is that the water is just passing through the oil. Water and oil cannot mix together. They are not best friends. They can only mix together with the help of an additional product. We'll get to that maybe in one of these classes. There's a product that can make water and oil to mix together. So, how then do we now get rid of the oil on the plate? By introducing dishwashing liquid. Or when I was in school, I used to wash plates with detergent. That's what I could afford. If you put detergent, you notice that the oil will just dissolve. You put dishwashing liquid, it dissolves. If you even use your soap, it dissolves. So your dishwashing liquid, your bathing soap, your detergent, your shampoo, they all have one ingredient in common, which is called sodium lauryl sulfate. The job of the sodium lauryl sulfate is to break down dirt, to break down oils. That's what it does. It breaks down oils. So your shampoo has SLS. Now, depending on the type of shampoo, there is a degree of that SLS that is allowed in the shampoo. For your clarifying shampoo, the percentage of the SLS inside the shampoo is high so that it can break down because the job of that shampoo is to clarify, remove dirt, don't leave anything, remove. That's the job of clarifying shampoo. And that's what most of you that revampers should be using. And I remember one time I had a conversation with my friend, she was like, she doesn't really think that for raw hairs we should use clarifying shampoos. And I told her, yeah, quite understand and I agree with that, but with what I now know about shampoos, you're expected to use clarifying shampoo and moisturizing shampoo. So after you finish using clarifying shampoo and you rinse it out, you're supposed to use moisturizing shampoo before you now apply your conditioner on the hair, your deep conditioner on the wig. So it's just about understanding what you are using. Do you understand? So we have that's on clarifying shampoo. We also have moisturizing shampoo. Moisturizing shampoo has SLS. It will remove dirt, but it also has some moisturizing properties inside the shampoo. You have to be looking at the. Somebody asked me one time when I was teaching this on Instagram. She said, "How do you know a moisturizing shampoo? You check the body, or you look at the ingredients." Another day, we're going to look at the ingredients of each of these. We examine the products that are on them. So when I say you look at the ingredients, how do you now know if I'm looking at ingredients? The first five ingredients that you have on top of any product. So if you go to this part and you see ingredients, you see water, butylene, glycol, glycerin, dimethicone, glycerin, glycol, dimethicone. These are plus water and butylene. These are all some of the first five ingredients inside this conditioner, which shows you that it's a moisturizing shampoo because these properties I've just mentioned are hydrating properties. And they are the reason why they are top five here is because the company is trying to tell you that these products are they made these products with these ingredients, a lot of them inside, a high percentage of it. Then we also have other ingredients which are called fillers. Those ones have very little percent, maybe like 1%, 2%. But for example, glycol can be like 50%. So they have to list glycol as top five. So you know that once you pick it up, even if you don't look at this part, you just know that okay, this is a moisturizing conditioner. Another day we're going to do a proper class on that. So that's how to know some of the